Aloha, my name is Nancy Kerner, and I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, intuitive, and facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities. Aloha, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Are you ready for a miracle? You're going to love my special guest, Linda Olson. She is an amazing woman, and we'll bring her on in just a couple of minutes. But from my heart to your heart, I just want to send you the healing power of love. Unconditional love for yourself and for your body. One thing that Linda and I have in common is we have both been awake and aware to the dangers of breast health through personal mammograms. Never had one and never will. My husband's never had a prostate exam, never had one, never will. Because in the book, Do No Harm, we read and researched about, well, I did, and then I shared it with him about how that testing system in the medical system is not good for us. The radiation, what they do to our breasts, if you did have wonky cells, they can be treated with frequency, with ivermectin, with other things. We can heal our bodies with prayer, meditation, and I'm wearing the color purple, lavender. I did have my Happy Aloha Friday lay on, but it's a bit big. In Hawaii, on Fridays, we wear leis. And at Unity Church in Hawaii, everything's backwards on the screen, so I'm kind of fiddling with this. In Hawaii, everyone shows up at church with a lei on when we have something going on a Friday, and in regular church. And it's just so beautiful to bring the divine feminine of flowers and peace and presence into our lives every day. This is the only day we have. So we're cleaning the slate, wiping it clean, taking a breath, and breathing in love and miracles for the amazing WavWatch. And our experiences are incredible. I know for myself, shockingly, surprisingly, Linda had a setting on it for Parkinson's, and I got trigeminal neuralgia for the second time. I had it 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And it took going to a chiropractor to whack my neck into alignment to get rid of it. And when I couldn't get into the chiropractor, I asked my husband if he could take off my WavWatch and give it to me. He was healing his pain in his shoulder, and I wanted to try it out. I don't know if he suggested it or I did, yet I put it on, and the pain was gone in no time. It was amazing. And then it came back after I took it off, so I put it on and left it on for 2 days, and it went away again. And just to be safe and sure, I kept it on for a couple days straight. It didn't come back. I've used it for my hip pain. I put it on my son last weekend when he had an accident. Somebody he ran into who laid down their bike in front of him on the motocross track. And you know how our people are. They're not open to the possibility of frequency healing. So he was, skeptical, but he was in pain. So he just held up his wrist and said, okay, I'll try anything. And I put that on and I gave him some mycronic silver ointment. And you know what? He was up and washing his bike a couple of hours later. It was amazing for me to witness at least him trying it out. And so with my husband being the biggest skeptic in the world, who actually had me buy him one so that we could each benefit from the healing of it. He's used it for shoulder pain. And I think Linda knows this, but he had an injury on his hand when our kids were teenagers and we were hiking and racing. They were racing. I wasn't, going down a hill in the woods. And he fell and caught his thumb and it went back to here. And he had surgery. And the doctor had told him, when you get older, you're going to have issues with that. And so my husband said, oh my goodness, I realized, I think he might have announced it on a show that Linda and I were on, and I didn't know that. And he said, it went away. He says, I have chronic pain that I've just learned to live with, and that pain went away too. So, from my husband, the biggest skeptic, to me wondering, I wonder if this will help, we have been blown away. And we have friends who've been using it and sharing their stories too. It's incredible how frequency healing is the most revolutionary yet ancient healing modality that we haven't tapped into. And it took someone like Linda, a brave, courageous, health conscious, amazing woman who actually started another business years ago. And I remember that business. It's been a couple of decades, and it was called Bras, and it's breast research and support education. It wasn't selling bras, she was educating women on breast health. So she's definitely a visionary, a holistic, health minded woman, a powerful woman who's touching people all over the world with the WavWatch and paving the way and leading the way for the frequency healings that we're going to see more of. And we already are in all of our connections. People are talking about frequency healing. Why? Well, because when we reset our tissues and cells to the correct vibration, then we can heal, and they can just assimilate and work themselves out of that inflammation process and whatever else. And maybe Linda can expand on that when she comes on. And I also want to thank her for coming on. I know that she just had a funeral for her mama on Wednesday, and it's such a bittersweet when you have an elderly aging parent who has health challenges, etc. When you say your last goodbyes. And oh, that's close to my heart, Linda. Lost my father in 2020, and I wasn't able to go and say goodbye because of all the COVID restrictions, and my family wasn't very open to the fact that this could that it was safe, that I was safe, that I wasn't tainted. And I said no thank you to all the protocols and injections that they gave. And yet so many people have suffered as a result of that mRNA pandemic, pre-planned vaccination protocol and boosters. And that is a hard truth. And if you don't know that, then please come to my Telegram channel and we will help educate you. Because when you take the power back of your health, your mind, your body, and your spiritual connection to source, God, spirit, whatever name you want to call it. I'm a holistic health doctor of divinity with, there's not one right way. In my experience of 35 years working with women, however you connect to your consciousness and your creator, your higher power, if whatever fits for you, my thing is we're here to help open hearts. And from my heart to your heart, I hope that you will enjoy meeting my friend Linda.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is always great to be in touch with you again. And I don't even know what to say about the introduction you gave. It was fully amazing. You kicked off everything. It just tells so much about what's going on in everybody's lives for the last several years and how important frequencies can be. And you know what? I wore the WavWatch for quite a bit during my mother's passing was love, and a lot of emotional frequencies, to just keep my spirit up, and all the good memories, those kind of things. But emotions are on the WavWatch, and so that was something that I really appreciated to be able.
That's beautiful. Let's say hello to a few people who are happy to see you. Aloha, Sylvia. She says, hello, Nancy and Allison. I so love it when y'all are live. Love you both. Thank you so much. And Colleen, oh my goodness, frequency healing sure has helped me. Hi, Nancy and Allison. This is our beautiful Canadian tribe, High Vibe Tribe. Her and Mo are over in British Columbia, and they are sharing our show. We're just so grateful and fortunate to be here. So with that, I can't see any of the other people over on Facebook who may be commenting. With that, You had reminded me that we already had done a show on nerves, so we may need to pull up that link at some point and drop it in there for people to review that one if they like. And today, what are you going to share with our people?
Well, I just wanted to share a little bit about Lyme's disease today, if that's okay with you, because it's springtime and I say springtime is Lyme time. And people are not realizing all of the things that can and are behind Lyme disease. We have some more ideas to share with people on that and to educate people. And then, of course, I have the WavWatch, and these are the instruction booklets. I have it set up so that you can be protecting yourself from Lyme disease.
You know what? I hear so many people talking about having Lyme disease, and so this is actually going to educate me tremendously, and I appreciate that and value that. So shall I go away and let you take the
Oh,
screen?
I'll just
Or
click and share my screen, you think?
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
how does that work? And
Yes.
I think you'll still be on there, right?
Well, I can remove myself.
Oh, I like to see you personally, but
Okay. That's fine.
are both of us down in the corner some way? I do like
Yeah,
to
we're
see,
on the left side of the screen. Yeah.
of course, not on my screen, of course. Don't know where you are at. Let me see. I guess I
It,
won't be able to see you, Nancy. Is there
it,
another button for me to
yeah,
click?
it's probably not going to be. I mean, unless you minimize the screen and make it a little smaller so you can have two windows on the same screen. I'm not sure if you can do that without messing up your presentation. But
Okay. All right. So I may not get to look at your lovely face here for a few minutes. I'll just go ahead with my presentation if that's okay.
Sounds
All
great.
right.
I'll be here.
Okay. So the first thing I want to say is that I do have a disclaimer for the WaveWatch. And, we have to let you know that the WaveWatch is not a licensed medical device. It is acoustical frequencies. And even though Nancy has mentioned that frequencies have been around from the beginning of time, obviously, they're still considered experimental. Isn't that interesting? And so the WaveWatch is not FDA approved. It's not a medical device. We do have a lot of testimonies. That's what we can share with you. But we are not saying that we have double blind studies. We are just saying that these are testimonies. And we do have some words that we use to describe a problem. For people, and they may be a medical term, but that does not mean that we have diagnosed you with that term. So, this is a self care device. And at this point in time, I have lots and lots of information about the WaveWatch. And if you go to the website and look up um, reviews, just the word reviews at the very top, you will see these links in the middle of the page. And now you can click and see all 80 of the presentations that I have made on Facebook Live or YouTube or Rumble, and where you can see those. So if you have a particular topic that you'd like to learn about, they are listed there so that you can access them really easily. And that was a new addition. And then just the WaveWatch. This is what it looks like. We've been kind of showing it to you. Nancy's wearing hers. I have mine on. And they can be worn by dogs and all kinds of animals, by small children, and by veterans and their wives, of course, or vice versa, seniors and any age group that you can think of. You can share the watch, and you can share one watch to start with, just like Nancy mentioned. She had one, and then her husband was ready for his own. So you can do that, but it doesn't mean that just because you have it, that you can't share it with your child or your dog. Either way, it works. So this is what you get when you look at the WaveWatch, and you'll get your own carrying case and a 24-page booklet. You'll get 2 wristbands to choose from. We have a Velcro one or a traditional leather type one, and you do have a screen protector on it. And of course, it comes with its own charging cord and charging brick. So that's kind of what to expect if you are interested in ordering this. And we're just going to give you some information about why you might want to be interested in it. It is sound therapy. It has 1,000 different settings, and these are targeted frequencies. So it's just not saying, oh, we help your emotions. I have 100 different targeted emotions to work with. So you can target different problems. And Nancy has a discount code. So if you are interested, just when you order, just type in Nancy 100 as a discount, and that will give you $100 off. And the website is wavewatch.com. There is no E. This stands for waves and vibrations. How's that, Nancy? Do we need to add anything?
Me? That's
No.
good. That's excellent. 1,000 different frequencies.
There you go. Yeah. So I think Nancy gave such an excellent intro. It can be used for so many different things. But springtime, I've already mentioned, is Lyme time. And I wanted to share that with you because I've already seen people that are getting bit, that are having trouble with Lyme's disease. So we'll just start it off right. And I'll just show you that all of these ideas are on the WavWatch and they're already in a folder. It's like a playlist made for you, so that you can just open that icon, you touch that icon, and you might not know what we're talking about until you have the watch in your hand. But there are different icons that you can touch according to your concern, to whatever your need is, different ways to say it, your self-care problem, And so if you are interested in protecting yourself from Lyme disease, then there is an icon. You just touch it, and all of these are inside that folder. And then you just touch it one more time and it will play through all of them. So this is so important because people are not realizing how expansive Lyme disease is. So Nancy, you're kind of saying Lyme disease is something that you could probably learn some information about. And I am too. I'm always learning about Lyme disease. So these are different ideas. Lyme disease, in case you have not heard, is very controversial. I hate to tell you if you have not heard this, but in the 1970s, they had several young teenage boys, is what I had learned, that had rheumatoid arthritis. And that was very unusual. So they sent in epidemiologists to study and see if they could figure out what was going on. And it took them about 7 years, but they came up with the idea that tick bites were causing this problem. And it was named Borrelia burgdorferi after the person who was in charge of the study. So it was also, quote unquote, named Lyme disease after Lyme, Connecticut, where they found the problem. So guess what they didn't tell us? Nancy, do you know this one? Should I put you on the spot? They didn't tell us that there was a germ warfare lab beside Lyme, Connecticut, and that they were experimenting with these very bugs. How do you like that? So there's books written about that, and I'll show those to you later. So this is why it's so important. This was in the 1970s, and now all of these Lyme ideas and their co-infections have traveled together across the U.S.
Linda, I was muted. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And yet I can believe it after everything we've been learning the last 4 years. Oh my gosh, that's disgusting. Go ahead.
So sorry to put you on the spot there.
No.
But didn't want to leave you out if you want to jump in anytime. So Lyme disease is huge. And I actually have 2 different hour-long teaching programs about Lyme disease. And then last week I added another one because guess what? Now this Lyme disease has segued again. And there's a whole group of people that have something that's called alpha-gal. And they actually are almost projectile vomiting when they eat meat. So there's a whole group of people just go all of a sudden having trouble when they eat meat.
Oh,
and now they have
no.
connected that with Lyme disease, also with the co-infections. And so up to 8 different types of ticks may be causing this alpha-gal. And they hadn't seen it until the year 2000. That's never been recorded before in history. So it just goes on and on how Lyme's disease is changing. So here's the worst one. This is a statistic from 2010.
Okay.
Almost 90% of the population can be carrying Lyme disease.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of people.
Mhm. And Lyme disease is a cofactor in 50% of the chronic illnesses.
Mm.
So I have worked with Lyme disease for about 16 years myself.
Mm.
And when somebody came into my office for some of the testing I did, if they'd been to like 6 or 8 different doctors and tested for XYZ, 6 or 8 different chronic health problems, usually you could almost on the spot say, oh, I bet that person has Lyme disease.
Mm.
And you did some testing that would further and would, prove or disprove that theory. But huge connection. So 50% of our chronic illnesses can be from Lyme disease. Now, why is it that way? Well, here it is. Why is everybody carrying it? Because it's now found in mosquitoes, fleas, semen, vaginal secretions, urine, tears, blood, spinal fluid. It's transmissible. And what I have been
Whoa.
saying is if you get on an airplane and
Mhm.
somebody has Lyme disease on that airplane, what's going on when you fly? That air is recirculated, right?
Right.
So you get off with Lyme disease. If
Oh,
somebody else has it, you're going to get off carrying Lyme disease. You better believe it. But if your body's immune system is supported, you
mhm.
may not have problems with it and your body you may not catch it. It's just that you were introduced to it. And some people, those infections can sit there for years and nothing can happen, and then later you can be stressed out. Gee, Nancy, have we been stressed out lately?
Oh, no, not at all. Whew.
No.
So,
So stress is
pardon
one of
me.
the main things to bring it out.
One of the things that we talk a lot about is making sure that we do what we can to get our body right with nutrition and supplements and build up our immune system. Is that what you're saying? That some people who are building their immune systems may not get it when others may?
Exactly. And then
Great.
if we read this last sentence here, entire families have been infected. Now, catch this, with each family member displaying a different disease process. Because there's 300 known possibilities that Lyme can imitate.
Hmm.
So I have seen several families. And actually, I was introduced to a family from Lyme, Connecticut, and they all had Lyme disease and they all had different symptoms. Why?
Wow.
Because each person's body has different weaknesses. So one person, it might attack the gallbladder, another person, it might attack their thyroid, heart, and on down the list. There are 300 known disease connections. So it's huge.
That is huge.
So this is my favorite one, and I'm not for sure if people or if this link could maybe be put in the, for people to use, or if you could take a snap or how you want to do this link.
Can
But
can you copy it and drop it into the private chat, and then
I,
Allison can put it in the
I,
chat?
I can maybe do it later, but it doesn't look like I can copy it right now with this up.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
But the reason this is important is this is a link, and you can go to the 300 medical conditions connected to Lyme disease, and then it will link you to a published study that is linking it to Lyme disease. I'm not just saying this. There's published studies on 300 ideas
Wow,
connecting Lyme disease.
that's
We,
powerful.
we don't know that. We don't think of it. We,
Mm-mm.
we do not realize how Lyme disease is so critical and problem causing. So here's the first page that I could kind of copy for you a little bit of. And, I just took the time to show you what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So, medical conditions related to Lyme's disease. And this is just page one of all of the ideas. So, then if you went to that website, you could click on one and it would take you to the published studies. So, did you know Alzheimer's? What's going on with our seniors today? Alzheimer's is rampant. So,
Yeah.
yes, Lou Gehrig's disease, rampant. Here's alopecia, Bell's palsy. Would you have connected that with Lyme disease?
No, and I know so many people who have Bell's palsy and pregnant women
Mhm.
who have it during pregnancy, and then afterwards they give birth and they still have it, and it may subside slowly over time, and it's just painful to watch people go through that.
Yes. So I do have a frequency for just Bell's palsy on the WavWatch, and I do have a really neat testimony for Bell's palsy. My amazing husband shared a wave watch with somebody at a banquet. He was sitting beside her, and of course, all you had to do was look and see that her face was, and know that she had Bell's palsy. And so he took his wave watch off, and in the time that we ate dinner, her Bell's palsy of 20 some years receded, and everybody at the dinner table was taking videos and documenting it. And so it was very, just, it makes you cry, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yes, crying tears for a
Mhm,
miracle, a shift in the
mhm.
cells and tissues. And Sylvia just said, "I have Bell's palsy for a long time."
There you go. So if you're interested in the Wave Watch, then you have choices because you now know that Bell's palsy could be related to Lyme's disease. So you would play through the Lyme disease ideas, you'd play the Bell's palsy folder, or frequencies that, and a detox, So
Mm.
lots of things that you could do. And that's why I try to educate people. And I did mention earlier that I have links that you can go to if you're looking at particular topics or specific problems. There are links to show what we have on the Wave Watch that might be helpful for your problem. We can't say that it's going to cure anything. This is just a different way for you, different. How do you want to say it? It's, you try different ways. I love essential oils, I like castor oil. I use that. I use the Wave Watch. So all kinds of things that you could do, and just another idea to add to your natural healing ideas.
I
So
love it.
this is just page one. Now, in case you're interested, lots and lots of people are getting Parkinson's anymore. That never used to be the case. That's newer and a different one. Well, guess what? They studied Parkinson's people. I think there were about 14 people in the study, and they gave them all something for Lyme's disease. And
Mhm.
guess what? Their Parkinson's went away.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. These are tears of joys. My first alcohol drug abuse counselor had Parkinson's, and we watched him slowly
Mhm.
deteriorate into his death. It was so sad. So this is good news.
So there is a possibility. And then, I mean, just look, this is just one page of ideas. Here's ADD. ADD and ADHD could be related to Lyme's disease. Now, where can babies, usually you're talking about younger kids getting something and they'll say, oh, they were born with it. You can have Lyme disease in the womb, you know?
Well, yes, and there's been
So
studies
everybody could.
showing
Yes.
babies in vitro and how many toxic chemicals they
Mhm.
have through the umbilical cord.
Mhm. So that's why I wanted to let you know and for you to remember and put together limes is, springtime is lime time. And so you want to make sure you're really protecting yourself and others around you with the frequencies that I tried to build together. So Lyme's disease, you do have to do some research on. It is a conglomeration of ideas. It's a spiral-shaped bacteria, which is related to syphilis, but again, it's called the Borrelia burgdorferi, and it's spiral shaped. Can you see my hand, Nancy? Can you know?
Yes, I can. I can see
Yeah,
you
it's a
clearly.
spiral shaped
Mhm.
bacteria, and guess what?
What?
Antibiotics do not help Lyme disease. They do not
Oh my
kill
goodness.
They do not kill spiral shaped bacteria. But
Really?
guess what? The first thing that they do if you get a medical diagnosis, if you're even able to get one, they put you on 2 years of antibiotics,
Wow.
treating only the bacteria. But
Oh
guess
my
what?
goodness.
Lyme disease is a connection of spiral shaped bacteria regular quote unquote shape bacteria, parasites, viruses. Now they've added yeast and molds that can be connected with Lyme disease that are being passed by different ticks. A different tick can pass a different problem, but they're all passing many ideas. So you've got to do a lot of research about Lyme disease if you have it. And if you choose to go to the medical community, just be aware that you're talking usually 2 years of antibiotics. So do your research, Now, this is what I wanted to share. Oh, go ahead, Nancy.
I was just going to say, I know a nurse who suffers from mold, and she has for years and years and years. And I know she uses nutraceuticals yet, and I think she has a WavWatch. I'm going to have to ask her if she's using it, and for Lyme, or pardon me, for mold. So, would there be one specific setting for that you
Yes, and
recommend?
it's on the WavWatch, and
Okay.
you can play there's a folder of specific molds, molds and candida and things like that, and then play everything that's on the Lyme disease folder.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So the reason I was trying to tell you that you have to do your own research is just because of some ideas like I have on the screen now. I did my own research and, just a few ideas. Okay, years can pass. There are people that have had problems for years. One lady came in, it took her 25 years to find out that she had Lyme disease,
Oh,
and
my
she went
goodness.
from doctor to doctor. So just be aware of that,
Mhm.
And Lyme disease is triggered by stress. Now, one thing I haven't shared with you yet, and I'm not sure where my PowerPoint is, I have so many of them, but Lyme disease, when it's introduced to bacteria, just
Mm,
kind of hides in your system. It
mm,
goes deeper and deeper and deeper.
mm,
And your teeth are the favorite place for it to hide. Now, why would they hide
mm.
there? Because every tooth has 2 to 3 miles of roots. Now, that's hard to,
Really?
you may not believe me, but look that up. And that's just one, it still blows
Wow.
me away how God made us. Every tooth has 2 to 3 miles of roots. So that's where they hide. They hide in those roots. And
Mm.
then when you get stressed, which we've already talked about stress,
Yeah,
then
we have
it
stress.
comes out again.
Mhm.
So Lyme disease is a quote unquote disease that comes and goes. Sometimes you
Lo
think you get rid of it, but you've got something deep in this root, and it can come back out.
Laying dormant, waiting for
Mhm.
the opportune time.
Okay. Then another silly idea. That's why I'm saying, I shouldn't have said silly idea, but to me, it's like, oh my gosh, I stay away from aspartame or equal anyway. But
Yes.
they think it can trigger it. So if you're eating all
Oh,
kinds of processed food and you happen to have Lyme disease, it's going to trigger it. And it's in 7,000 foods without them even having to label it. So be
wow.
careful of that. And then here's another
Wow.
amazing idea. Our animals can be infected with Lyme disease, and that could
Mm.
now be transmitted in our food. That's the one that I cry about the most. I was raised on,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And then another idea, this is why I'm saying you got to do your own research. Look at this, the very last one. The CDC even believes that it can be passed in blood transfusions.
Oh, and they don't test for it.
No.
Mm.
So
That's
now do you
dangerous.
know why 90% of the population could be carrying Lyme disease?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I've kind of went over this a little bit. We don't have to talk about it a lot, but the medical community doesn't have very good testing. Amazing.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
And unless they've changed something, and I'm not up to date on it, but as far as I know, they are looking for your body to make antibodies, and your body doesn't do it. All of these pathogens are stealth pathogens, and they hide from your body. They're coded. They've coded themselves, and
Oh,
your body doesn't fight them. So your body does not make any antibodies for them. But what do they test for? Your body's antibiotics, and they don't make them. Your body isn't making them. That's why it's under the radar for years and years and years. So,
that makes sense.
okay. So here's one of my favorite things to tell people. I saw this I'm thinking 16, 18 years ago, and I am apologizing because I do not know who to give credit to anymore. But when people were telling me that they had to have 2 years of antibiotics, I'm saying, oh my gosh, there has to be something better. And there was. This was online, and it was an idea that you could reload with salt and vitamin C and vitamin B, drinking plenty of water. And that would almost take the place of 2 years of antibiotics. Now, think hard about that. Do you want to take a lot more unrefined sea salt with 80 minerals in it and vitamin C and vitamin B? Or do you want to take 2 years of antibiotics? So at least right now, that is a prevention for you also. I'm giving you something different to do besides the WavWatch. Maybe you don't have that in your hands, but if you kick up your salt, which I take anyway. Are you a salt person, Nancy?
Sea salt,
Yes,
Himalayan
yes.
sea salt.
And I should have been saying that. Unrefined sea salt. Unrefined sea salt. So you're wanting the salt that has color in it. And by the way, if you've missed this little tidbit, our salts are different colors because they have different minerals. So the
Oh,
Himalayan salt is pink because it has more iron in it. The pink is the iron.
oh, I didn't know
Okay,
that.
so a Celtic sea salt is more gray and it has more magnesium in it. Okay. And
Okay.
then what I've seen from working with over 5,000 women with their breast health is that most of the women who are not having a cycle are usually wanting unrefined sea salt that is called Redmond's Real Salt. And that is the salt that their bodies like the best. So different ways, different things, but make sure that you're taking an unrefined sea salt because they have 70 to 80 minerals in them. Okay. And then so
That's
the
great.
top three ideas were, I found these on the internet again 16 some years ago. And then I added these next ideas. You also need to add iodine
Mm-hmm.
because salt actually doesn't have iodine in it. We think it does because Morton added iodine to our salt when, years ago. But it comes out that this salt is really a synthetic, or excuse me, that this iodine is really a synthetic iodine. So it's not the best iodine. So reload iodine slowly, and you can take Lugol's iodine or other iodines that you're familiar with that you want to take. There's several good kinds now.
Mm-hmm.
Lugol's is my favorite, but different ways to take that. And then you could take lots of bone broth. That's another good way to get some more different ideas in. Except if you're having trouble with vomiting meat after you eat meat. And sometimes it's you even smell meat cooking and people start to vomit now. And this is now connected with Lyme disease.
Mm-hmm.
See, it wasn't 16 years ago, really, when I started developing this. And then another idea, just an easy idea, is you could detox 2 to 3 times a week with a hot bath and different sea salts, So you can do a reload protocol, get you going, and start it right now. It's springtime. Don't forget, it doesn't have to be from a tick bite. It can be from mosquitoes. And now they are also adding chiggers to the list of things that can give us Lyme disease.
Say that?
Chiggers. Do you have chiggers in your area?
No.
Okay. So some areas of the country have chiggers, some have mosquitoes, whatever. So many things can be passing this along, not just ticks anymore.
So just can I ask a quick question? When you take a mineral baths with salts, do you recommend magnesium baths as well for
Yes,
this?
those are fine, but the different kinds of salt, just what you're trying to do is detox. So find a detox type salt. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love detox baths. They're good. Took one last night, just myself.
Mm.
So this is an idea. Don't want to take too much time, Nancy. I'm not sure how we're doing here. But
We're fine.
the medical community is looking for a bullseye rash, and that doesn't happen to everybody.
Oh.
Okay. You may not have that rash at all, but that really gives. And if you get a tick bite that you're able to see and you probably have about 2 weeks to get to the doctor, and antibiotics will be helpful. Okay. But after that point in time, that
Like a
problem.
first 10-day protocol
Yeah,
that they give you and then throw them away because it's killing your gut health and flora
yes,
and
yeah.
mm,
But if you miss that 2-week cycle, the Lyme's disease is much, much harder to get rid of. The
mm.
antibiotics are helpful at first couple of weeks, but after that, you're going to have to do lots and lots more work, and it can be much, much more problematic and even lethal. Sometimes people die from Lyme's disease. You would not believe the different
Wow.
combinations. Yeah. Okay. And then see days or months after a tick bite, severe headaches, neck stiffness, palsy. Look at that. See, facial palsy,
Yeah.
arthritis, intermittent pain in the tendons, muscles, joints, and bones, heart palpitations, dizziness, shortness of breath, brain problems, nerve pain, shooting pains, numbness or tingling in the hands and the list goes on and on. And don't forget the most important part I was trying to show you and share with you, that site where you could see the 300 different diseases connected with Lyme disease.
Thank you for sharing that. We will check it out. I wish
Mhm.
I knew about this when my son had a nasty spider bite. It took forever to heal. It got so infected. It was crazy. And so good information. Thank you.
And this is just a chart. It just kind of shows, it's a little bit hard to read on how my glasses on, but it's just kind of showing you the co-infections, some of them, and some problems with them. But you can look that up on, on online also. But I'm just trying to tell you that Lyme disease is a whole conglomeration of pathogens. Do not forget, it's just not a bacteria. It's a spiral shaped bacteria that doesn't react to antibiotics.
Mhm.
It's molds, it's yeast, it's parasites, it's viruses, and it is bacteria. So these problems, again, 90% of our population could be carrying it. Just for
Linda,
people that came in
Linda,
early. Yeah.
Linda, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to let you know that I do have that link and I did put it in the chat. I've been able
Oh,
to
perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's such an important topic. Like I mentioned, I have 2 or 3 hours of more information. And if you're interested, I'll just give you a little show right here. But now I go into, on some of these other programs, I'll spend time with each of the different you know, anaplasmosis and different bacteria that are connected to this. So this is just one idea. And then the WavWatch has a frequency for that. So lots and lots of information. It's kind of information overload when we're talking about 300 diseases, that are connected with it. So I think I'm ready to stop sharing now and just kind of any other information that you'd like
know
for me to share about that. But
there's loads of questions, I'm sure.
okay, yeah, there we go. So
Okay. Allison's going to start posting the questions and comments, and we will take them. Well, I'm scrolling back up to the top. Okay, so Sylvia says, if my mom is flaccid, is that it, the correct pronunciation, on her right side, will it work for her?
you're saying she doesn't have a lot of movement? I'm assuming, I have no promises. I do have quite a few testimonies from people who knew they had Lyme disease and it immediately helped. And other people didn't know that they had Lyme disease. They just use it as a protective, and a lot of their symptoms and problems went away. Okay. So all we can do is try, and it's the easiest way to try. There was one slide that I kind of missed, but I love to say that the WavWatch it empowers you. That's my favorite phrasing. It gives you power, because you could wake up in the middle of the night with a leg ache and touch the WavWatch for leg ache, and it'll go away
Oh,
usually.
yeah. We use it all the time when we miss our potassium, get muscle cramps or whatever. So Sylvia did follow up. She says she has no movement.
Right. So there have been some improvements in movement. with several different people and different ideas. Parkinson's is a huge one on the WavWatch. And then tremors and any kinds of nerves, the Bell's palsy, that is actually a huge connection with the WavWatch. And the reasoning behind that is that there are studies that were done in Denmark, the School of Physics in Denmark, and they think that they've proved that our nerves are not really electrical. They are saying our nerves may be sound pulses. And they've got all the information behind it. They say they've proved it. But, that's something that might take 50 years for the medical community to trickle back to us and for us to learn. But gosh, already on the WavWatch, it's kind of connecting, because that's one of the strongest things that the WavWatch works with. It's sending sound frequencies through your body. And doesn't that make sense? If your nerves are sound pulses, then voila.
Yes. My mom used to say often, I'm having a nervous breakdown. I'm thinking, good, and ready for the spiritual awakening, because it's a clue.
There you go.
So we have another comment. Hi, this is from Sanibel. Hi, thank you for your information. How is your WavWatch different from the EE system with Dr. Rose and Michael Saunders? I bet you get this question a lot.
Well, is the EE system is it one that sits on the floor? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know it. So all I can say is the WavWatch is portable. You can wear it to bed with you. You can take it on an airplane with you. You can watch TV with it. It's portable, and you don't have to hook up to anything. It helps you. It helps to maybe cut down on medications. It's safe. It's an acoustical frequency. And I think the EE system may be frequencies, but that's about all I know about it. I'm sorry, I do not know about that system. So,
well, thank you.
Is it a system where they have a tool?
I don't know. I get so many people sending me their EE system, all the products, right? And this is the only one that I've been interested in so far.
This is the only one I know that's small and portable.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so Adventures of a Cosmic Camper has a WavWatch, and she asks, what is the typical battery life of a WavWatch? It's not a battery. I've had mine since January, and just recently the battery has only been lasting about 7 hours. Oh, I see what you're saying, the charge. Okay. I wear it when I sleep and let it run on my playlist.
Well, batteries are batteries, and they are kind of finicky sometimes. But the WavWatch usually runs about 7 to 8 hours for sure. If it gets lower than that, and it's less than a year, we will replace that battery for you, because it should run for a year, at least at the 7 or 8 hours. Now, sometimes if people have, I try to send information on keeping your battery life as long as possible, and how to charge it and that kind of thing. And again, I've lost my thought here. If your battery does not last, I will replace it as needed, but it should last longer than a year. Hopefully, they're saying on the 2 to 3 years. But
now I know that this woman has had success with her husband. He had, what is that? Like a little blood clot in his leg. I forgot what it was called, and it helped him. And she also put it on her dog. She was putting it on everyone and everything. And she just really loves it. So that's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the feedback. Yep.
And any of you who have varicose veins, that's it. Thank you. Any of you who have comments, testimonials, or questions while we have Linda on here, go ahead and pop them in the chat. Oh man, I just have so many questions, and now I can't think of one of them. Oh, I know. Somebody was asking if, a lot of people are really like me. If I find a great product, I am so happy to share it with everyone I know. And who doesn't like a good deal? So we have network marketers who want to know, is this something that's available for them, or are you only working with podcasters? What is your standard? And because we want to honor that.
Well, I am a new company, and actually, you could contact Nancy since you're seeing it through Nancy. We have an affiliate system, and Nancy could work with you, and you could go quote unquote under Nancy. And I just have a 2 level, and that would be perfect. So you can make a connection with her, and I'll let her update you. That works. Does
Beautiful.
that work for you?
Thank you. Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. We want to share the healing love. I mean, so many of our viewers are very keen on that. In fact, we had one from Curly. I'm trying to find it. He was talking about um, chemtrails and does it help with chemtrails?
Well, believe it or not, I have a specific setting for chemtrails. It's huge. And I have a whole folder for detox with about 23 ideas now on specific types of detox. So, glyphosate, anesthesia, chemtrails, and as many things, EMF detox, and the list goes on and on. So that's a great tool, and that's something that I suggest that people wear just for protection and prevention. And I live in the Overland Park area, and somebody actually sent me a picture. If you do not believe in chemtrails, maybe this will change your mind a little bit. I don't have the picture with me, but she sent me a picture, and she had been out on her front porch, and it started to hail. So she ran inside. That's all she thought about it. And the next morning, she goes out on her front porch, and that hail is still there. But now
Wow.
it's sitting in a circle of oil, little patch of oil on the cement.
Really?
In the center of it was what looked like hail. Okay. Again, is the next morning. And so she starts to carefully pick up these little pieces of quote unquote hail from the storm the night before, puts them in a pile, and I have the picture of that quote unquote hail. And then when you individually touch them, they just dissolve in their little
Mm.
pieces of plastic.
Oh my gosh. That's disgusting.
Mhm. So
We're
that was our,
breathing that. Mm.
so you can't tell what's in our air.
Hmm. Yes, major cleanup needed. And in the meantime, we are taking our power back and the Wave Watch is my first go-to. I haven't had an aspirin. Well, not that I took that. I took a naproxen. And so that is no more. If I rub a little peppermint on my temples, peppermint oil, that usually will help. I don't get headaches much. I think that headaches often come from poor nutrition and diet. People who
Mhm.
have migraines and chronic headaches, this will, I, I'm speechless at
So
how,
many testimonies on that. Yes.
yes.
Lots and lots. And, we talk about having the last 3 or 4 years that we went through and all the controversy with families who did or did
Oh,
not believe, or,
yes.
they had opposite sides of the problem, the controversy. And so I do have frequencies on there for COVID-19, for different kinds of flus and viruses. But also I have added frequencies for arteries, because now what are we having trouble with? We're
Yeah.
having deep vein thrombosis. We're having artery problems. We're having blood problems. We're having, we want to detox from those vaccinations, and I have a frequency for that. And so I have added all kinds of frequencies that could be more helpful for things that we have in our body that we didn't have 3 years ago.
That
So,
is fantastic. And you do offer a guarantee if people aren't happy or satisfied. And I think that's really that helps me when I'm looking to purchase something. If
mhm.
if I don't like it, and there's a certain amount of days or weeks that
Right. Yes.
people can
And then
return it.
I don't say this a lot, but there is a warranty on it. And I'm not sure why. I'm just not an advertiser, I guess. I'm trying to tell you the benefits of it, but people are prone sometimes to dropping it. It has a screen protector on it. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And so if you drop it on a cement floor, you're going to break it. So you
Mhm.
might want to buy a warranty, and it's $49.99. So, and that's for breakage or if you get it wet. Okay, because it's not as waterproof as I'd like it. We're working on it, and we've got it better and better, but it's not perfect yet. And so that $50 people are usually very thrilled with if they drop,
Yeah, that's a
you know.
no-brainer. It's an investment in your health. I mean, I paid for mine for my husband just in the chiropractic treatments alone. I didn't need to
Yep,
go back.
yep.
So Oh my goodness. I feel like we have not had you for so long. It'd be great to have you on again sooner rather than later because you bring such you have so many files and maybe you can tell me how many of those presentations you have and if people have questions about a specific topic that Linda could come back and share. For now we have Adventures of a Cosmic Camper. Will there be more frequencies offered at some point, like an extra disc we could insert with more frequencies? I think Linda's updating her frequencies. Now she
Yes.
has trigeminal neuralgia on there.
I did that earlier, and I do. If you purchased a watch a long time ago through Nancy, it might have 870 frequencies on it, and you can go to the website and buy a new disc. And all you do is just change discs, and it will change it to 1,000 frequency watch. So that is available right now, and it's just $60 in shipping. So you can do that, and all you're doing is changing the disc. So.
Well, she got hers just at Christmas time. So
So
was
that's 1,000 frequency one.
okay?
And I
So
have
you
not
got
updated it since then. No, it would be
oh,
about over 6 months ago if you ordered one. So.
okay. So we're good. We're good to go here, everyone who's
Yep.
been getting your wave watches off of our show and website at nancykerner.com, or you can go directly to wavewatch.com, right? That's
Right,
the
right. Don't
wave
forget to use Nancy's code.
WAV.
Nancy 100 will save you $100.
That is so generous and beautiful, and thank you. A lot of people don't know how we met. Mike Penny has a fabulous show, and he was out sick, and so I was invited to come on, and Linda was the opening holistic health person
That's
with her
right.
Wave Watch, and I remember sending you a note and said, "Girlfriend, we need to talk." And we didn't talk for until we started our podcast, and then
Yeah.
we were connected, and we're just so happy and grateful for something that really, really works. I wouldn't be opening my mouth, putting you on my show if it weren't 100% truth. This is an amazing product, and I thank you for your service. And when did you get the idea to do the Wave Watch?
Well, I do get to, I hope I'm not saying the word, but brag a little bit because I had the idea of putting this on a watch before the Apple Watch came out.
Really?
So I don't know where that idea came from except God.
You're visionary. Yeah,
He helped me years
absolutely.
ago, and so I'd been working on it, and the technology was not there to really put it on the watch, until that time. It took a while, and then my sons grew up and were able to help me, and we I got it going, But it's kind of fun to say. So way before the Apple Watch, I had this idea.
That,
So
and you have now employed one or both of your sons.
both of them, yes.
That is I love success stories in families. We've talked about that before. My family is in construction and yours is in healing, and that
Yeah.
is so great. Okay, Adventures of a Cosmic Camper, I mean in addition to the 1,000 ones in the future.
Probably not. We have found that the TF card, if you will, the storage, capacity is limited at 1,000. I cram everything on I could. I kept cramming and cramming, and I might be able to get a few more on as people have requested something. And I'm going, oh wow, I should have put that one on there, but there will not be a huge amount added because there isn't room to store it. Unless they come out with some fantastic tinier and tinier chip. So at this point, we'll be around 1,000.
Well, I'm so grateful to learn. I think I read that article on Lyme's disease, and yet what you just did was you opened up my mind to see how it is transmittable and contagious and how important our healthy immune system is, especially when we're flying and in groups of people. And that there is hope for so many people because they say, I have Lyme's disease. There's nothing I can do. My life is a mess. And now we can give them hope.
Yeah. And they can wear that very easily. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but you can be very specific, especially when you know that Parkinson's or Alzheimer's is connected to Lyme disease. You're going to play everything that you can on the watch, So the watch makes it so much easier. Things are at they're on your wrist with your fingertips. You can touch and, play the immune support. If you're having artery problems, play that. If you're having problems with your lungs, you can play that plus the Lyme disease folder and give yourself double the protection that you really wouldn't have from just the suggestion that you need 2 years of antibiotics. How sad is that?
Oh,
Yeah.
we do not promote running to the doctor. There are people who love their doctors. You trust your doctors, and that's great. That's the last place I want to go, to a doctor or a hospital. I want to do everything alternative healing first before I, call for help over there, because we have much more wisdom about the body, nutritionally, vibrationally, our frequencies, our spirituality, all of it is interconnected. Our stress, like Linda really, put that into our faces today, our stress levels. We need to disconnect from these PCs, get outside, get grounded in the earth, breathe fresh air, hopefully.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, I laugh, but it's just because I would cry if I didn't laugh. Oh
And
my gosh.
people think, I'm saying it's Lyme time. Springtime is Lyme time. I can't go outside. And no, that's not the idea. It's like protect yourself. And there's lots of ways. Wear more clothes, and don't put some chemical spray on your body when you're going hiking, but just
Yeah.
wear the WavWatch instead.
Good point.
So
Mosquito repellent or so yeah, that's something I will try next time I'm camping is
and the WavWatch even has a frequency for repelling mosquitoes.
what?
So go to the bugs and bites, and it says
Mosquitoes.
mosquito repel. So
Yeah, we do need to
there
have
you
you on more often because
go.
you're
Have
such
fun
a
with
wealth of information.
it.
Well, if it we're out of questions, let me just check, make sure a lot of people felt that way. Okay. Um, I want to bless and release you to go on into your day. And would you please come back if we invite you
Yes,
on, say in a week or two,
sure.
a couple weeks maybe?
We'll
Because
we'll get it together when we can. I'm a talker, so
I love it.
I can talk about lots of ideas because I've done the research on them. I'm not saying I'm just saying I'm a researcher, and then I talk about what I research. So
Well, and women, when we get something we like, we're going to go tell everybody about
mhm.
it because that's what we do. We're relationship oriented for the most part. We're wired for relationships and we're wired for a good deal. And your watch is such a good deal in terms of switching from buying the chemicals. No sunscreen for me, no thank you. Buying the chemicals, going to the doctors, taking time off work because you're injured or sick or whatever. There's so many benefits. It's an investment in my health. And I so appreciate you, Linda. Do you have anything you would like to say before we bid you farewell?
Well, I did meet somebody this week who does love frequencies, and they had bought a necklace that had something on it, for their. They didn't describe it as frequencies. I don't know a name. I'm not trying to say anything except that this necklace to help them with pain cost them $1,000. That's what I
Wow.
wanted to point out. And so it was just for pain, as far as I'm remembering. It wasn't specific. Well, you can get the WavWatch right at that $497, and it has 1,000 different ideas on it. We're talking about pain. We're talking about nerves. We're talking about COVID. The list goes on and on. These are targeted frequencies. So to me, you do need to look for a bargain. That's why I put it together to be a bargain for our health. But there must be a good way to phrase that. I like to save money, and this was the
Yes.
best thing I could figure out to cover so many things and save everybody money.
Oh, yes. Congratulations on your success and your family's success. And, I don't envy success. I admire success because you had the download, you had the vision. And I think I can relate to you in that when you've researched holistic health modalities for 35 years, then when that moment in time where spirit gives you that divine spark, that thought, and then you go, and then you just are off and running with it. That is so beautiful to me and amazing. So thank you, Linda,
Oh,
with
thank
all
you.
my heart. I'm forever grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you, Nancy.
Aloha, Linda. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I have a heart filled with gratitude. Who knew that we could help those people who we've witnessed suffer? Bell's palsy, Parkinson's, and avoid antibiotics. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Poison, poison, poison. Yes, there is a time and place for antibiotics, but 2 years? Give me a break. We need to build up our immune system. And the WavWatch frequency is, my grandchildren, they go, "Oh, Grandma, you have such a big watch." And it's like I try and explain it to them. And it's not landing for, family members yet. And so we're the pioneers, not only in this financial revolution we're going through a health revolution that is going to change the way we look at our health. We're taking responsibility back away from big pharma, away from the medical system that wants to put your breast between two plates and squeeze it. Are you kidding me? We need to love our breasts, massaging our breasts and doing our own breast exams. And I have found personally that if our breasts have little lumps in them, sometimes there are supplements that we can take. And I've lost the one for lumpy breasts. I just forgotten it. And when I remember, I'll announce it on the show. And yet with the combination of doing our own self-care, loving our bodies, loving our breasts. I know a lot of women don't like their breasts. They talk bad to their breasts. Would you talk bad to your best friend, or would you love them and send them positive thoughts and energy? Because your thoughts are frequency. Our feelings are frequency. Linda said we have emotional settings on the WavWatch to help us with that. I've used the heart one when I've noticed that I'm a little itty bitty bitchy. Then I put it on the heart setting and I breathe. And so, we are a new generation of holistic health, intuitive spiritual healers. And what we want to do, my purpose is to give the power back to you so that you can live in divine love, peace, prosperity, compassion, and optimal divine health. From this moment forward, I'm sending you love, the frequency of love, to love and accept your body, your breasts, your prostate. You men, my husband's an example of sending beautiful healing vibes through the WavWatch to your body, mind, and spirit. It works. I wouldn't be here if it didn't. And thank you, Linda. Blessings and blessings to you and your family. Thank you, Miss Allison, and all of you who have joined us for today. Aloha. I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find me at nancykerner.com on social media. And remember the truth about you. You are a powerful and prosperous person.
Are you tired of all the pills in your medicine cabinet? I'm Linda Bamber-Olson, the creator of the WavWatch, a more natural approach with 1,000 frequencies for mind and body. You've got to hear some testimonies from people just like you. I absolutely love this WavWatch. It has helped me with occasional aches, cramps in my muscles. I twisted my knee a month ago, and the WavWatch has helped tremendously with the pain while healing. And how about this one from Debbie in Colorado? My left leg was hurt bad enough that I would cry when walking to the doctor. Doctor appointments are $170, and chiropractic sessions were $45 many times for the last 2 years. My hands and neck are stiff. My leg quit throbbing within 5 minutes of the session for bursitis, and 2 hours later, still no pain. Are you tired of all your pills and endless trips to the pharmacy? Why not try the WavWatch with 1,000 different self-care ideas and put your mind at ease? It's the world's first sound frequency therapy watch. WavWatch is not connected to the internet. There are no messy cords and patches. There's no monthly fee. It's very simple, easy self-care. And best of all, people are comparing it, saying it's like a med bed on your wrist.
To order your WavWatch, go to WavWatch.com and be sure to use the discount code Nancy100 at checkout to receive $100 off your order today.